Wow, what a few couple days it's been, hasn't it? I don't even know where to start. There's just been such an influx of such amazing content just from this one 4-hour interview. And, well, actually 5 hours. And this one 5-hour podcast is spawning hours and hours of content. And it was just glorious. I'm not going to bother going over the entire thing because there's way better detractors than me out there that is going to do that for us. And I'm probably watched like 2 people already go over it. And I'm probably going to watch another 2 or 3 detractors also go over it because it's just, there's so much to pick apart. And every one of us is just pointing at different things and bringing their own views on it. And it was just so much better than what we had hoped it was going to be because we were so afraid that it was just going to be another lame one. Like, what was his name? The quartering interview. We were afraid it was going to be another quartering interview, and it wasn't, and it was amazing because Craig and Adam actually did their research and actually listened to detractor or output and the hard-hitting questions we wanted answered. And it was amazing because the amount of times, the cognitive dissonance that has happened here. I can't wait to hear Steve's interpretation on this. The amount of times he was a hypocrite and he contradicted everything that he said before. So I got a few clips here. Some of the clips are from Duty's streams, and some of them I actually clipped from the past by using PigPigGo. We'll get to those in a second, but let's just start.
Still, with all the detractors, they want to know about your experience with this game. Just a real simple yes or no. Mm-hmm. Do you currently still play WWE Champions?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, you do. Mm-hmm. Why are you so? Why are you so?
He said many times before that he still plays mobile games, but he doesn't play this game anymore. He's said that many times.
Hesitant to talk about that or to talk about WWE Champions, and we'll start there.
Oh, why am I hesitant to talk about WWE Champions? Well, the thing is, I wasn't at first. I did talk about it publicly years ago when the game first came out, very innocently. Talked about playing it casually. That I was a fan of wrestling. This is a game that I played. Over the years, every once in a while, I will casually mention a mobile game I'm playing or whatever. But, it's nothing that I would think that my audience would be super interested in to hear about me. What mobile games I casually will talk about them. That would be like something I mentioned on my podcast. Oh, let's talk about I'm playing a new mobile game today or whatever, right? But what's ended up happening is over the years, every little thing that I mention that's not directly related to my content or my business, what I'm doing on stream, somehow gets twisted into something distorted or messed up by my detractors to make me look bad. And this is a prime.
You do that all yourself. You don't need our help for doing that.
And you can disagree. Trying to orchestrate something. Well, just one of the many things, because we can go through a lot of the things they've done that have been completely disproven. But this is one of the things that I never went out of my way to disprove because it's stupid.
Because you can't.
Can I ask you, Phil? Have you ever spent money on this game?
Of course I have. Yes.
Have you spent a lot of money on this game?
Good question. What does a lot mean?
Anything over $100 is too much on a mobile game. So
probably when the game first came out, yes, I spent over $100 on it. That was 2017 when it first came out. Trust me, I'm first on this game now for all the wrong reasons. So yes, in the first year.
Wait, you just flex on how good you are at the game?
No. I said I'm first on the game because I have to know about it because they're freaking put me in conspiracies about it and shit. It's ridiculous. Okay, I don't want to know about it.
Then, how much money have you spent in this game? Do you mind saying?
Total, I couldn't tell you. It's definitely total under $1,000 over the years that it's been in operation for sure.
Okay, not over $1,000.
No,
because that's not what people think.
That's correct.
They think that you're some sort of a whale in that game.
Oh, I know. I've seen every. I haven't seen every video. I've heard it all. First, it was like thousands, then it was 10,000, then it was 20, then it was 40. Now it's 100. I think 100,000 supposedly I've spent on this game.
Well, we started talking about it, and you instantly went into just attacking other people. Like we don't have to like your detractors. Like they may deserve it. I don't know, but we can have this conversation without even bringing them up.
Sure.
Right? We'll bring them up if they're you're saying you're instantly going to they're making up shit. But you do play this game. You have spent money on it, and I think what's happening is when you're begging your audience for money and then complaining that this King's Feast is too expensive for a $60 meal, and you're stressing for money, and then putting money into a game that is a mobile game that is, I mean, let's face it, mobile games are not necessary in life.
No
Spending any amount of money on
Exactly.
a mobile game. I've never played this WWE. I don't even know. I saw like a picture of it, and it looked like Candy Crush or so, I don't know what the hell it is, but it just feels like they feel like you're just using them to like using your audience.
Is this
and, like,
Adam? I think that was
wanna be used.
talking.
I
Probably should have grabbed one that had
used.
that
I've
showed
been
the
used by
actual
people in the
thing with
past,
all
and
of them
I don't have time for that in my
talking.
life. So when people are
But Adam
watching
was really
someone
asking
online
the
and supporting
hard-hitting
them and then
questions and was
feel
really
used, like when
getting
you
him
say you
good.
beg too much, and you're working on that, which is good because, as I said, it's not a good look. But even talking about, hey, this other game that they believe you're a whale in, why do they think you're a whale? Where are they getting this?
Because he is.
See, here's the thing. I don't exactly know. There's been so much to this thing over the years that, I'm just going to briefly in my head try to go over what I remember. Apparently, first it was that there was an account in the game. That's the name of the account was They Call Me DSP. Okay?
Which is also your Twitter handle.
That's correct. And so just by that association, they're assuming that's me in the game. Okay. Now,
What else could DSP stand for? They Call Me DSP, which is exactly what he used for his Twitter handle and many other things. I think many other different accounts he had for different websites was also labeled that. That was his de facto go-to kind of name. What else could DSP call? Do you know what the chances are that this could actually be someone else and not Phil? Very, very minuscule, like microscopic chances that it could actually be someone else and not him.
from what I'm going to understand after I guess at some point it had been asked on a stream or whatever, is this you? And I said, no, that's not me in the game. It is not, by the way. That is not my account in the game.
What is your account in the game?
That I'm not going to say.
What is it, Phil?
Say why? Because back when I signed up for that game in 2017, there had never been any drama around mobile games or anything like that I had been involved in. No one ever asked me the question of what's the name of your account. I have an
Would you have
account
told
name on
us?
basically
No.
my Apple device that kind of crosses over a lot of different accounts. Okay, and if I were to tell you information about my account, these people will absolutely use that to hurt me. They will try to use this data to get into other accounts. They will probably try to commit identity theft, impersonate me with Apple. I can't do that. I've already been through that 2 years ago.
So on the record, you're saying that that account, They Call Me DSP, is not you.
That's correct.
Okay.
Well, okay, but here's the thing that I'm having a hard time wrapping my brain around, right? Because apparently that name was changed later to Down from the Rafters, right? Why would somebody, if this is a troll that is a whale, right, that in this game, why would somebody let's say after this was brought to your attention, the name is later changed, right? And they're spending all this money on this, right? And they know it's being, it's being tracked in this game. Why would they change the name if they're just trolling you with They Call Me DSP, this name? Why would they then change the name if it's just a troll to begin with? What's the point?
Because
I'm trying
it's
to
not a
wrap my
troll?
head around this idea here.
Sure. Apparently, there's a couple theories. Theory number one is, like you just said, this person was actually a troll who was trying to make me look bad, and
Which makes
that
no
was the
sense.
theory until the name changed. But I agree with you. That doesn't seem to make sense, does it? Why would you try to change your name if you weren't, maybe? And again, this is me just guessing. I have no clue because this is not me. Maybe this person was a legit player. Maybe it was a fan of mine. Maybe it was, who knows? Or maybe it wasn't. Maybe it's complete chance. This is not Darksydephil. This is not DSP Gaming. This is They Call
It's
Me
Darkside
DSP.
Patrick.
Yes,
No,
right.
again, who knows? You're right. That's the point. It wasn't my name.
What
It wasn't
else
like
could
Phil
DSP
Burnell
stand
or
for,
whatever.
though?
It was one name that I use on a Twitter account. So maybe
And
this was
many
gonna be
other
someone
accounts, not
who was
just
playing the
Twitter.
game and over the years was getting like harassed. I don't know. Here's what I can tell you. Since this started happening, all right, I was afraid that my actual account name was going to get out there, and they were, like I just told you guys, they were going to try to like harass me or change, harass my Apple account, hack my Apple account, whatever. I reached
Phil,
out.
I gotta say real quick, if that whoever They Call Me DSP changed it to whatever the hell they changed it to, why haven't you changed it to some?
That's what I'm
obscure
about
thing?
to say. That's exactly what I'm about to say. I asked they have the help chat or whatever. I asked them. I said, listen, this is happening, and I'm really afraid. And they told me they don't do that. I was like, what? Yeah, we don't do that. We don't do name changes. I said, there's evidence that there is. They wouldn't do it for me. So maybe, I mean, I don't know. Maybe this person, because of the level that they've spent supposedly in the game, because they're a whale, maybe the company did them a solid because they keep spending, and so they did it for them. Apparently, you can't just change your name. There's no option in the game to change your name. I've tried. It's not there. And you contact support, they say we won't do it.
Okay, look, there's a lot here. There's a lot here, and
A lot of bullcrap.
look, I'm of the mindset of once somebody gives you money, you can do what you want with the money. But
True.
I think that we're here to put all the cards on the table here and work through these things. So when you play this game and you have this whale that has the exact same Twitter handle that you have, that is pulling this elaborate troll on you, right?
If that's what it was, I don't know.
Right. But I hate to bring this up. But I'm going to, because I feel like it needs to be addressed.
Go for it.
People have been very aggressive with you to the point to where they have leaked bank statements from you, right? And that's obviously not cool at all. It's ridiculous that somebody would go to that length, and it's honestly upsetting. But it's out there, right? And there have been, according to these leaks, there have been dozens, hundreds of transactions to the Apple Store. Many over hundreds of dollars that have been there. Were those your transactions?
No.
So
Look at
so
his
those were
face
not
when he
tied to you
says
at all.
that. No.
No. The bank leaks. Now we have to get into the identity theft thing. Okay.
Well, let's just talk about the bank leaks
Please
first.
tell us about the bank
Well, they're
leaks,
tied-
Phil.
Okay.
What I mean, like, they go hand in hand. Those bank
Go ahead,
leaks.
explain it. Yeah.
Sure, the bank leaks are not accurate. That is not my account.
Really, Phil? Those aren't your account. That's not you, huh? Let's take a trip down memory lane, actually, and see. 1 second here. This first clip here is from October 26, 2022. Last year.
What would happen? And they did exactly what I thought. They broke the law. They committed identity fraud. And they got personal information that they shouldn't have.
This is
Good
what
news
he's
the
talking
personal
about when
information
he
isn't
did his little automotive repair trap, quote unquote, where he supposedly is claiming he set it up to where he expected them to do it. So this is just a little clip here first.
It's nothing that's really going to negatively affect me in any way. However,
And that might be where some of the confusion is coming from, because he claimed that whoever it was that found out what automotive repair shop he took his car to, which wasn't very hard, because we know DSP. Sorry. We know DSP. We know he's a lazy fuck. So they probably just looked at a map, looked at the closest automotive repair shop there is to his house. And I believe he even said, when he was first bringing this up, I took it to a repair shop that was down the road. I'm pretty sure he said that first, before any of this quote-unquote trap thing, right? And then they just called and said, "Hey, I'm DSP. Could you? I'm Philip Bernal." And they got a hold of the bill, right? But the point of why I'm bringing this up is he also considers this identity theft, which it really isn't. But I'm just bringing this little clip up. This is when he's talking about his automotive repair bill and how someone called and got information about that.
yes, it's annoying that this has happened because they shouldn't have access to that personal information whatsoever. It should be private, personal. All right? Just because I said I got my car repaired on the internet shouldn't immediately mean that every piece of data about the car repair is now public. Okay? It's bullshit. It's really fucked up. Okay? This one is from Chris.
All right, so now we are at Ask the King from November 24th, 2022. Now we're getting somewhere.
This is over the 2 years that I have now subscribed and followed you. I believe deep down you're a good person who unfortunately deals with enormous amounts of hate and trolls online. Do you think with this interview coming up, will this accomplish a wider audience seeing who you really are? Or are you afraid that it'll be used to feed the trolls more?
You see, from November 24th, he was already talking about wanting to have an interview done. From November 24th. And then, what was it, like, less than a month ago? He was like, why are you guys still asking me about this interview? That was forever ago. That was in the past. No, it was like you were talking about it even back then. All the way back in November, you were still talking about this interview. And how you wanted to do this interview and clear the air and get your story out there and all this stuff, right? And set the record straight and disprove the trolls and defend yourself. And yeah, you didn't provide any evidence of that. But yeah, even back then, and he's like, oh no, why are you still talking about that? That was forever ago. No, that wasn't that long ago.
I understand it's a hard place to see a positive result, but I'm sure that you're thinking about that as well. Thank you very much for your entertainment. Glad you're still around creating content. As I've said, recently on this show, the whole point of me doing the interview, all right, is not necessarily to come out and say, ha, gotcha, here's all the shit you said about me, and here's the outright definitive evidence that everything that you've ever said about me is wrong. Because the only way that I could do that would be to expose myself even further to risk and harassment and crime, quite frankly. Because when I'm seeing people regularly commit identity theft, commit fraud,
it's because he can't disprove it.
Like I said, the reason last
if
year
he shows his account, it is that account. It'll be the same account that we've been tracking that we associate with him. He has no way of actually disproving it.
And once they
so he's making up all these excuses about
now there was money being transferred, there was overdrafts happening. It was not good. Okay, and I can't go through that again. So to put myself at that kind of level of personal risk.
Wait, let's go back a little bit because I was talking. Sorry.
Happening. It had access to all of those to another account because this person who commit fraud to get me people regularly commit identity.
Sorry, 1 second. I was talking over that a bit. Like I was saying before, I'll pause it really quick before I continue. Yeah, he claims, he uses the excuse that, oh, I can't show my phone to anyone because that'll have the same account that's linked to all these other accounts, and that. So you're admitting that you have these other accounts that are even more damning than WWE champions? Is that what you're admitting? You have this is his excuse because obviously he can't actually disprove it, right? So he's using this excuse that, oh, it's linked to all this other stuff. I'm like, how much worse are these other accounts then? If you're not even if what he's saying is true, how much worse are these other accounts then? What's he actually spending the money on if it's not WWE champions? Because he's saying clearly that it's even worse, or it would be really bad. So how worse is it? I don't know. All right, so let's go back because I talked over it. I'm sorry.
People regularly commit identity theft, commit fraud to get me in trouble. Like I said, the reason last year it was so bad was because this person who got unauthorized access to one of my accounts used them.
One of his accounts. He's admitting right here it was his account.
To basically piggyback to another account, And once they had access to all of those accounts.
That is a lie too, because they only got access to his Bank of America account, and that's it. And they haven't taken any money out of the Bank of America account. They just got a couple months statement from Bank of America explaining where the bills go and everything, all the purchase transaction list. That was all they did. But he's saying right here it was his account.
Now there was money being transferred. There was overdrafts happening.
No money was being transferred.
Okay.
Overdrafts might have been happening, but it was because of you, not them.
And I can't go through that again. So to put myself at that kind of level of personal risk by giving any kind of personal information out, it can't happen. You see? But the purpose of me doing...
How would an account on a video game lead to a different bank account? That doesn't make any sense, does it? Like, if you have an account for this other game, supposing that WWE Champion's account was not his, right? And he has this different name that's on his WWE Champion account. How would us knowing that name lead to us somehow gaining access to a bank account if that bank account was not his? Which it was, because he clearly said it here. That was his account, and they stole a bunch of money from it. Which obviously no one took any money out of his accounts in the first place, But he's saying right here that was his account, though.
Is not to appease the trolls. I don't care about the trolls. Those trolls are never going to be appeased. My purpose is to simply...
Oops. Because you can't disprove anything. If you would just show your phone right now with the actual account, that would disprove everything. Although I guess some detractors would say, oh, you just made a new account and transferred it, and that's... So I guess maybe... But still, you could show it to someone else without any, like, live, without any kind of photo, like... But come on, no one... We all know DSP. He doesn't know how to Photoshop. He couldn't fake a screenshot from it. He could maybe get someone else to, but he himself isn't going to do that.
Get my side of the story out there, and whether or not you believe it,
your side of the story.
But I feel right now what's happening is when you have a wide network of larger content creators, we're not talking small-time guys making fun of me with detractor videos like they do. We're talking big-time YouTubers who think it's funny to reiterate those negative memes and stereotypes that are not true about me.
It clearly is
a part of the running joke, right? To do it. I think that's completely unfair. And at least if I had an interview with a high-profile YouTuber with a following, who now, when I do this interview...
Nothing against Craig or Adam, but they weren't that big or high-profile of a YouTube channel, I'm pretty sure. Clearly probably bigger than Phil, but I don't think they were that big.
At the very least, my side of the story is out. At least that gets exposure to a wider audience than just the 300-400 people I talk to every day here on my channel, right?
And he's also right here just admitting that he is doing this purely to get trying to get new viewers' eyes on him.
Goal. This happened last year.
Okay, so this is the last clip we have from January 4th of this year, 2023.
I told you guys about this last year. Oh no, excuse me, 2 years ago. Now, I forget because I think it's 2023 now. I gotta say 2 years ago. 2 years ago, someone got unauthorized access to one of my accounts. Sadly,
let's pull that back a little bit.
2 years ago, someone got unauthorized access to one of my accounts.
One of his accounts. They were his accounts. He's clearly said in multiple Level 1 podcasts, they were his accounts.
Sadly, they used that to kind of piggyback into other accounts. Once they had all that...
Which, again, he's always saying they piggybacked into other accounts. No, they did not. We have no evidence or no proof that anyone gained access to any of his accounts except for the Bank of America one. And all they did with the Bank of America one was just give a list of transactions that he himself has done. Unless he's trying to spin it to where all these iTunes random iTunes, so many iTunes charges were fraudulent and that the person who actually did it somehow. But no, that's not the case at all. And I don't think he's actually trying to spin it that way. I don't think he's actually that smart to even try it, to attempt that. And I don't think he's trying to spin it that way either.
Access, they started doing a bunch of fucked up stuff with my money. They were trying to make payments that money I didn't have. I got hit with monstrous overdraft fees. I got hit with all kinds of negative shit. All my fucking agreements and finances got screwed up and I had to cancel and restart everything. And it put me back thousands upon thousands of dollars. All right?
Thousands and thousands of dollars, huh? Let's go back here.
So it's the person who took your identity was spending money in the Apple Store?
No, that's not my account at all. Whatever that is not me.
So it's not his account.
Or it's someone else's account.
It's not his account, but he admitted many times, more than once in the past, that it was his account. So which is it, Phil? All of a sudden now, you're trying to claim that it wasn't his account at all. And even Adam and Craig bring it up that these correlate exactly to your days off to going to the same places you say you go on your Phil's Day Off segments. You went to Curls and Twirls, you went to, like, what was it, that Wine and More place, that liquor shop that you always claim you go to. the Curls and Trills Hair Salon, Costco, all these places that you claim you go to on your day off segments, this bank account correlates exactly to, and exactly on the days that you have off, it correlates perfectly. And now you're trying to say it's not your account all of a sudden, even though we have proof that in the past that I clearly showed you admitted those were your accounts.
I don't know whose, but that's not my account that was leaked. I've had a lot of issues that happened with identity theft that same summer, but they used that to run with some kind of this crazy conspiracy theory and say that was me, and it's not.
So you're saying, just so we're on the same page, you're saying that this account that is not yours, that had thousands of dollars of fees to the Apple Store consistently, that are these amounts just happen to tie to exact amounts in the game that we're talking about, WWE Champions. And it's a game that you also play. Just so we're all on the same page. Yeah. You're saying that that is not your account at all, and they were unsuccessful in hacking your bank account.
They did not hack my bank account. They did not have access to my bank account.
What?
Seems awfully convenient.
What? Oh, they didn't have access to his bank account. He has said, I just showed you the audacity of this man. Oh my gosh. I just showed you guys that, oh, they got access to my bank account. Identity theft, identity fraud, those were my accounts, and they stole thousands and thousands of dollars from my bank account. Even supposing, okay, let's suppose whoever it was that actually gained access to his bank account, right? Whoever reverse engineered and gained access to his bank account, suppose they did. Suppose they took money out of his account or spent it somewhere else and actually did do thousands and thousands of dollars out of his account to fuck him over, right? Supposing that is actually true, he admitted that it still was his account. That was the case. He said that was his account. Now he's all of a sudden turning it around and saying, that's not my account, that's not my account, even though it lines up perfectly. This is ridiculous. This is like the most audacious thing he could have said. I'm like, this was the part of the interview that I really wanted to go over. Not so much WWE Champion's account, we know that's him, but the bank leaks, oh my god.
And
right.
just right.
That sounds awfully convenient, but that's the truth.
You can understand how us looking from the outside in looks at this and raises an eyebrow and doesn't quite buy it, right?
To me, I mean, from an outside perspective, who doesn't know anything, would look like you had to go and file for bankruptcy. You had all these issues and people calling you out for spending way too much money on this game when you should have been saving for taxes. And then, you know, this shit comes out and you're like, you're freaking sweating. You got to freaking do something about it. It's like, oh, I was hacked. That identity theft, like maybe the identity theft happened. I'm just like painting a picture for like these people on the internet that hate you and are trying to convince the world of what happened. And then, like Craig said, I mean, you are playing it. It is your username. There are all these bank statements that actually correlate perfectly with this game.
Perfectly.
I'm leaning more towards that side of the story because it makes more sense. I mean, you needed an
really
out.
Does.
You have money issues and have had money issues for a while, and it's just like. It's hard to believe, dude.
The reason that this story has not died out like every other one is because this is the one that I really don't have a way to prove my innocence without further exposing myself. You understand?
Do you have a police report for the
a police
identity?
report?
You don't. You can redact certain things.
I did not. I don't have a police report. Geez, how do I?
Did you not go to the police when your?
Did you not go to the police if it was identity fraud? Did you not go to the police, Philip?
Hacked?
No, I went to all my financial institutions. I went to the credit bureaus.
You didn't go to the police though when someone was stealing your identity. Why wouldn't you do that?
Why wouldn't you do that, Phil?
Thing to do. I don't think. What would they do about it?
What would they do about it? What would the police do about identity fraud, Phil? Really?
Try to fucking get the person and arrest them for stealing your identity.
Adam is so incredible. He's like, really? Really? I'm sorry. I'm not, I'm being too loud. Let me calm down a bit. Adam is so incredulous. He's like, really? Like, what would they do about it? Gee, I don't know. They would probably find the person responsible. And considering all the outlandish claims, like how you're going to sue this person for merely using your content without permission or whatever. How many times has he said he's going to sue someone or it's illegal and against the law just for us restreaming him, or just for us taking clips out of context, or just for us quote unquote painting a narrative or whatever, and slander and libel, all these things that he's claimed were illegal. How Tevin is a criminal who's how Tevin is like a criminal who's equivalent to a drug dealer. Oh, but identity fraud? Oh, that's not against the law. What could the cops even do? But all these other innocent things, well, quote-unquote innocent, smaller things, oh, no, that's illegal and they're going to jail for that. Are you serious?
Identity?
I mean, I guess, maybe, but here, okay, I guess what I got to do is tell you a little bit more about all the crap I've been
Oh,
through.
yes, please tell us a little bit more. Please spin the web of lies even more just to get them sidetracked and, like, lose focus and hopefully,
Contacted the police about the harassment. No, listen, I have contacted the police about harassment.
He sighed so heavily. He's like, oh my God.
Years later, when someone was actually doing tons of fake transactions against my PayPal account that were all fraud, they were actually fraudulent credit card transactions, I contacted our police here, and I had a big conversation, and they said, listen, I swear to God, this is the conversation.
I swear to God, this is what happened. You know who says that? Liars say that. Compulsive liars say, I swear to God, this happened. 99.9%, that didn't actually happen if someone says that. I swear to God, this actually happened, guys. Honest, believe me.
We don't do that. We don't have an online task force for this stuff. They said the only thing we deal with is human trafficking. That's it. That's all we can do. Here's the number today.
Yep, it's the Wild West here. If someone steals your bank account, they can't do anything about it.
FBI, if you want to call them, but unless you're talking about
call the FBI about it, Phil.
Money being tossed
So
around.
you did contact them or you didn't?
Not about identity theft. I contacted them years earlier about other issues.
About
And you
what
talked
other
to them
issues?
About identity theft.
I talked to them about a lot of different things that had happened or could happen. And they
But why would you have talked to them about identity theft years earlier if none of that was even happening to you?
Well, I don't know if we specifically said, oh, identity theft. Like I said, there was a
my
case where-
God. Just, oh my God. I don't even know where to begin. I mean, Adam is like amazing. Like if it wasn't for Adam here catching him on his lies and bullcrap, Phil is trying to spin this narrative and the circular talk to try to confuse people, and Adam's just not having any of it. He's like, so did you contact the police or didn't you contact the police? If you contacted the police in the past about identity theft, then why didn't you contact them now about identity theft? And he's just like floundering because he's realizing he's being caught in his lies and he can't actually keep the story straight himself on the spot.
First of all,
because Adam and Craig are not his normal dents. His normal dents are a lot, I'm sorry to say, they're more susceptible to Phil's quote-unquote pignosis or his circular logic, and they just instantly believe him. Normal people don't do that. Normal people are going to call you out if it sounds ridiculous, and this is insanely ridiculous, Phil.
I received death threats, like pretty serious death threats. Someone saying they're going to come around and murder me.
Oh, now we're doing
Well,
the
that's a completely
victim
different
segment again.
subject.
Correct.
Right.
And I contacted them about that. And while I was talking to them, I also brought up PayPal issues that I was having with fraudulent transactions and other things. And they basically said, we don't handle that. We can't. We don't have the capacity. Local PD doesn't care. You have to go, if you want to go to the FBI, but they even said, here's the number. If you ever get into something really bad, you're afraid for your life or something, call us 911. Outside of that, anything else, it's, big transactions or whatever, like you lose $1 million, you call the FBI. That's it. So I didn't think, I didn't file a police report about the identity theft because I didn't think they could do anything. They told me years previous, nothing's going to happen about it.
Well,
You know?
it didn't seem like you were talking about identity theft with them. So,
Let me ask this, right? you addressed the bank leaks on a stream.
Mhm.
Why? If they're not yours, why? Why did you feel the need to talk about the bank leaks if they weren't yours?
I just again, rewind this video a little bit. I just showed you he addressed the bank leaks and he said multiple times, they were his bank leaks. If they were not his bank leaks, why would he have said, they were his bank leaks. Why would he have even addressed it at all? But as I just showed you, again, for the millionth time, he admitted they were his. Why is he now redacting that and trying to change history? Oh, that was in the past, guys. That didn't actually happen. Please don't look back on my videos that are clearly available. You can go to PigPigGo, because that's where I went, and search identity fraud, identity theft, and you'll find so many more examples I could have pulled from. I only grabbed 2 or 3 because there's so many of them that he says many times they were his, and now he's trying to change his mind, trying to change it all of a sudden. Oh no, they actually weren't.
Well, what do you mean by that? Like, are you referencing a specific stream that I did?
Just in general. I mean, if somebody hacks an account and they say this is Darksydephil's bank account, right? Why don't you say, well, it's not mine? What are you even talking about? And like, I did. Okay.
I'm sure I've never.
No, you did. When? Phil, I just looked through PigPigGo for any instance of identity theft, identity fraud, bank accounts, leaks, bank statements. The only things I could find up are clips of you crying the victim and claiming they were your account and they got hacked to try to get more money from your audience. I have not once, while I was doing research for this video, found any clips of you saying it was not your account. Every time you brought up a bank leak, identity fraud, identity theft, it was either in regards to your car repair bill, or it was about the bank statements. And the bank statements, you always said it was your account. So now all of a sudden you are changing history, trying to pretend that in the past you always said it was never your account, when we can clearly go back to your own channel and find this is not us just coming up with voice clips, or I can't do deep fakes. I can barely record a video here. I don't even know how to stream yet. Like, it's not us just coming up with some deep fake of a robot Philip voice saying, "This is my bank account." Snort. No. We're using actual clips that you said yourself from your own podcast, from your own channel, to prove that what you're saying now is not the case. To disprove what you're saying. Every time you brought up bank accounts in the past, you said it was your account. It's not. You never once said it was not your account. Every time I looked,
I said that was my account.
Then how come? And this is, the internet doing what it does. There's been matchmaking based off of your life, going to restaurants, big events in WWE champions, things like
corresponding
that line
with your days
perfectly
off
with this bank account.
Perfectly.
And I think I said it's your money, dude. You can do what you want. I don't care. But why? Like, it just, if we were in the court of law and somebody was to bring all this evidence in front of, say, like, look, hey, there's a bullet here. Here's the gun that he used. It has his fingerprints on it. This person is dead because this person pulled the trigger, and the other guy's like, "Oh, I didn't do it." Well, like, there's clear, like, DNA there, and like,
yep.
I think that's the thing that I'm really struggling with here, man. Is it just seems like if you would just say, "Yeah, it was my bank account. It was really fucked up. It aligned with all these things. By the way, I play WWE champions. I have a hard time quitting it. Those games are addictive." And he just kind of said, "Yeah, these things are."
And I think he goes in a little bit further here, so maybe I should wait. But Craig here is giving him an out. He is just saying, like, dude, we understand it. We all have our vices and our addictions. Just if you were to just come clean and admit what we all know they are your bank accounts. We all know you have this addiction to WWE champions. If you were to just come clean here and just ask for a new slate, a new start over, and to work on it and show some humility and empathy and actually act like a human being, pretty sure most of your dents would still follow you, would not leave you. I'm sure maybe one or two of them would, but most of your actual fans would probably stick with you. And Craig is trying to give you a way out of that, and you just buckle down on your lying and your bullcrap. And it's
accurate.
just,
I think people would like just be like, okay, and they'd be cool with it. But it just seems like you keep digging and digging and digging. And I mean, walk me through this, because there's just evidence here, like mounds and mounds of evidence. And
So
Right,
many
you claim
evidence.
that it was someone else, but
And-
why do a lot of the things on the bank statement actually correlate to things that you actually did and paid for?
right, and the only evidence
provable.
that you're putting out is, well, no, it's not, or that's a lie. You know, and just walk me.
he has no way to disprove it. He's already said in the past, I have recorded evidence that I just showed you that he himself admitted in the past. And now he's like in the court, like Craig said, in the court of law, he would be found guilty in an instant by public opinion here. And it all correlates perfectly with his days off and where he normally goes.
You through this, man, because this is the whole purpose of this thing was not to make you look bad at all. I just want to walk through this here, man, because it doesn't make sense. This doesn't add up.
What specifically, like you said a couple things there. First, you said big events in the game correlate to money being spent on the account.
No, I don't think he meant in the game. I think he meant in life.
Well, in life and in the game, apparently there's like special events that happen in the game, and it's, you know, a certain character's released or whatever. I don't know enough about the game, right? I didn't do a deep dive into the game. Just there are special events that happen. Hey, you know, it's like you see this on any game, Call of Duty, Apex. For this time only, you can buy this character, or whatever. That's all. I'm just trying to walk through this, man.
But here's the thing. I don't know specifically what you're referencing. I guess what you're saying is there's transactions on that account that correlate. That's something that's been proven that I spent money on. How would that even be proven? What does that mean?
I mean, maybe you went to a restaurant and you said, "Hey, I'm going to go to dinner tonight," and then there's a transaction at a local restaurant for an amount that may add up to a couple people dining at a restaurant. You know what I mean? That's all. Like I said, I'm just trying to walk through this.
Yeah, I don't know.
Or you saying, hey, I went and had a haircut at Twirls and Curls today. Or, yeah, I'm finally going to, like, what was the name of his barber that he always talks about? Or I'm getting him mixed up with Perry. But he's like, yeah, me and Kat went and had our haircuts done. And on that day, according to those bank accounts, he went to Twirls and Curls. Or, hey, guys, so I went to Costco and got grocery shopping today. And on that bank account, at the same day, at the same time, he has a charge at Costco. Things like that add up perfectly to what he says, because he has this need to go on his podcast and to perfectly like lay out every single thing he did on his day off, every single thing he spent. Oh, we went to this Mexican place called so-and-so Mexican, and it was really good. We DoorDashed it, etc. And then on that bank account and that day, it also lines up with a charge of what two people would be from that day, from that time, at that restaurant. That's what they're saying, Phil.
I mean, first of all, from your perspective, if I were sitting where you were right now and hearing this story, you know, I'd be like, he's probably lying. I don't know how to defend. Again, I don't know how to defend myself without putting myself and my family at personal risk, and that's the problem. I don't know how that lines up. I wish I knew. I wish I knew I could explain those transactions. I guess, man, I'm trying to figure out how I can tell you from my perspective what really happened that summer. And why,
I'll tell you, here's something very easy, very simple, very simple. You have my email, and this is a small ask. It's also a big ask. You can say whatever you want. Will you, and you can say no, and I'm totally fine with this, but just confidentially between us, will you send me a screenshot of your account, of your WWE account, and just so I personally, I will not share your name to anybody, but just between us.
Man, I have to think about
and vouch for you.
I would put out.
Yeah, and I will vouch for you either way.
I have to think about what kind of risk I don't want to say. Here's the thing, I'll consider it, but I can't agree to it yet. I have to see what's the risk, you know. And I not say that I think you would do anything with it. I don't.
I think you got to look at what's to benefit more than what's to risk.
Yeah,
it would. No idea.
Exactly, it would benefit him so much if he actually did that.
The levels, how this has gone.
I do. I see it. I'm well aware. I have chat up. I mean, I know. I mean, people have been tagging me relentlessly since it was announced that you were coming on the show. And I didn't know who you were. I'd never heard of you before. Before this moment when Craig was like, hey, so do you know who DSP is? And I'm like, no. What's the deal? And everyone's like, oh, we got to freaking tell Adam who DSP is. You know, it's like, I see the amount of attention that you get in a negative light, right? So like, I understand. And so I'm like, I kind of understand that you don't want to be too forthcoming with your any more information that isn't public already, because as there's a lot out there. So, you know, but you're in a pickle, man, because the internet is a fucking pulse, and it's a new brain that humans are still learning how to adapt to. And right now there's a big chunk of the internet that has a target on your head. And you know, you've said it multiple times that you fucked up. You held your hands up. You said, I didn't handle this right. I fucked up multiple times. You did this and that. So it's like, if you want to remain on the internet, which you seem to enjoy streaming, you like what you're doing now, which is good. I'm glad you like what you're doing. But it's like, if you want to move in a direction that's going to alleviate some of these haters, anything might help. Obviously not giving them more ammo, which, I mean, I've grown to trust Craig. Of course, you know, don't tell him I said that. But you know, I think that would actually do more for you than you think. If Craig came out and was like, all right, guys.
And again, I want to reiterate. How do I explain this? All right, so we know how bad. Okay, so suppose we're wrong, right? Suppose that WWE Champions account is not actually him, right? And he didn't actually spend all these hundreds of thousands of dollars on WWE Champions. I don't know exactly what the number is up to now, because I remember at first there's like 40,000, and then it went to like 60,000, and I think it's up to like 100 something thousand now, right? Supposing that's like, okay, let's give him the benefit of the doubt. Let's say we don't know anything about Phil. All right, Phil, I'm a fan of yours, whatever. It's not yours, right? Show us your WWE Champions account to disprove it live on the air, or send it to Craig or whatever. We know he doesn't know how to do Photoshop. Although, didn't the internet like drop like shortly after this point? Pretty sure, suspiciously. And then he claims it was a DDoS attack, which it wasn't. And I think he was just trying to change the subject or something. So he's like, "Oh no, I'll be right back." But discarding all that, he has so much to gain by showing his actual WWE Champions account that he claims he does play, right? So if it's not his account, and he shows us or shows Craig or whatever that his name in this WWE Champions account, and Craig doesn't actually spill it and just shows it, or even if Craig does share the name from his actual WWE Champions account, how much worse is the actual case of it? Like, you know what I'm trying to say? Suppose his actual name on his WWE Champions account is, I don't know, Hogan Lover 496, right? Hogan Lover 496 is DSP's actual WWE Champions account, not Down for the Raptors or whatever it ended up being. And then trolls find out about it and Google, okay, well, Hogan Lover 469 or 406, whatever. What are they going to find that's worse than $100,000 spent in WWE Champions? You see what I'm trying to say? How is whatever information they were to find by you disproving this going to be worse than hundreds of thousands of dollars that you supposedly spent on WWE Champions? How could that be any worse than what is already being claimed against you? Like, okay, so they get, if you use Hogan Lover 469 on many different game accounts, and you're still not willing to show that name a screenshot, how much money are you actually spending on these other games, on these other accounts under this name then, that's worse than this WWE Champions account that is pretty close, sure, to being you, because it lines up perfectly with all the shit evidence that we have against you? All these evidence against you claiming this WWE Champions account is yours. How is that not the worse than what you could show by disproving it. The thing is, it's not. He cannot disprove it without admitting it's him. That's the problem. Can you imagine? Just like, I don't think it could be worse. Do you? Do you think that, assuming this isn't his WWE Champions account, and if we were to get a hold of his actual account there and trace it back and do all this stuff to find out what he actually spends money on, what other mobile games he might actually spend money on, I don't think that could be any worse than this WWE Champions account. He's being all this evidence against this WWE Champion account that's being claimed that is him. It can't be worse than that, I don't think, because I don't think he's that big of an idiot. He might be, but thing is, he just can't disprove it because he knows deep inside, and you can clearly tell he's lying so easily now. But like, it's so obvious. I just disproved a while ago that he was lying about the bank accounts, and he can't disprove it. He, like, even you could, unless the only thing I could see him trying to do is make a new WWE Champions account and try to pass that off as his normal WWE Champions account. Oh yeah, no, this is actually my WWE Champions account, and you can look at it and it'll show that it's like a brand new WWE Champions account with barely any money spent on it. Is that like made yesterday or something? And he'll try to pass that off as his normal account, right? But other than doing something stupid like that, he can't actually disprove it because he knows it's his account. So he's trying to make all these excuses up on why he can't do it, and it's just not working at all.
He sent me the proof, and I can confirm to everyone that his account is not, they call me DSP, the whale account. You know, like
or the other name, Down from the Rafters.
Or what it changed it to, yeah.
Right.
Right.
Like, almost at this point now, it's like, it's almost suspect that you're not wanting to just do
Very suspect.
whatever you can.
Yeah, again, I hear you. If I was sitting in your position right now, I would feel exactly the same way. But just the levels of shit that I've been through and people who betrayed me, not that I'm saying Craig would. I don't think he would. But
I have no interest. Phil, I want to be really clear with you, man. And just like this, we were talking about this. I have zero interest in making you look bad. Like, I think there's a tremendous opportunity here for you to be humanized to a lot of people who don't see you as human. You know, and to err is to be human, right? That's the old saying. Like, everybody fucks up, and you've owned up to a lot of those things. But there are certain things here, man, that I just, you know, they don't add up. And you're saying, hey.
And remember, this interview was supposed to be him coming clean, him disproving the haters, him. What was the name of that one stupid ass stream that he did where he's like, him discrediting the trolls, him disproving all the allegations against him. You remember he did that stupid stream where he didn't actually provide any proof? He's just like, believe me, guys, this is not true. This is how it happened. Believe me because I'm saying it, without providing any proof whatsoever. But this is supposed to be his interview where he gets his side of the story out, and he can't even do that because he caught up in so many of these lies, and they're calling him out on it, rightfully so.
If I was in your shoes, I'd be saying the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't, I don't know, man. It's not connecting. It's not connecting. And I'm trying to help you out here, man. I really am. And,
I hear you.
And so
I feel like there's
help yourself.
I feel like there's nothing else to be said then, you know, because
Could I bring up one point about these bank statements?
Sure, yeah.
So I've seen limited amounts, because here's the thing. You guys just said, why do you bring it up on your stream? I only bring this kind of stuff up on my streams when someone else brings it up, and there's like, it's such a loud fervor on the stream. People are talking about it in the chat. I'll address it, okay? I did look into it. I saw some of this supposed bank statements that are mine. Mm-hmm. There's a couple things that don't make sense to me. All right, number one, if this is me, okay, there's a bunch of transactions on there, I guess, from like pet stores, okay? And people are like, well, that's because Phil has a cat. Yeah, but those transactions are like big. You're talking like hundreds of dollars a week or something like that. I have one cat. Now, again, that's he said, she said. It's not going to prove my innocence, but everyone knows I have one cat. He's been on the stream all this time. I don't have a secret herd of dogs in my basement. I don't even have a basement. So we're, you know, some of the transactions in that
And we know you overspend on yourself. You probably dote on your cat too. You probably buy her the fanciest treats, all these cat beds, the most expensive. Well, we know he doesn't actually buy wet cat food for his cat. He only buys dry cat food, but he probably buys a bunch of cat toys and gets Jasper groomed and gets all pet beds and cat toys and all this other stuff.
I've seen don't make sense at all for what it's funny because you say circumstantially some of these transactions could be yours if you went out, and ate. Okay, you're right. But some of them also don't make any sense. Like, okay, there's a bunch of transactions on there that say iTunes. Okay. Now I don't know, but here's the thing. The narrative that they have put out there about me is that I'm begging and shilling to my viewers. The viewers give me tips every day, and that money goes right into WWE champions. Correct? Like that's the narrative that they say on the internet. If that's the case, why are there bank transactions for iTunes, right? The money is in my PayPal account. Why are there bank transactions for iTunes? It doesn't make any sense. Why would I take money out of a PayPal account that I have, that I get my tips from, transfer it to my bank account where then I take a hit because there's a transfer fee anytime you transfer money from PayPal to a bank account. So I'm taking a big financial hit on that money. Then I'm making transactions in the game.
Well, first off, we know, I forgot to even look for this clip because I forgot he mentioned this. We know you transfer money from your PayPal account to your bank account almost instantly. You take that hit from transferring it in minutes as opposed to in days, so it's instantly in your bank account. You've mentioned this before. And like we've seen before where it's like you will, because in PayPal, you can transfer your balance to your bank account either through your debit card or your checking account. And if you do it through your debit card, it's like in a matter of minutes, but PayPal will take a small fee. Or you could do it in a couple of days through your checking account, and there's no fee. And we know that you've done it with your debit card, taking that fee every single day, every single time you transfer money all the time from your PayPal account to your bank account. And you have an iPhone. And in order to buy like jewels for a game, or I play Genshin Impact, so like, but I play it on the PlayStation, right? I don't play it on my phone. But if I was to buy Primo Gems from Genshin Impact on my phone, it would go through iTunes. So it stands to reason that him playing a mobile game on his iPhone from his bank account, where we know he transfers money from his PayPal to his bank account, would then show that it goes through iTunes to buy it. Even if he was paying for it, yeah, he always sends money there. Why would you pay it through PayPal to the iTunes? And even if you did, I think it would still show up as iTunes eventually, because it would eventually come out. So yeah.
Off the bank account? Why wouldn't it be made out of the PayPal account? That doesn't make sense to me. It makes no logical sense.
Well, there's a lot of things that haven't made a whole lot of logical sense here, Phil. I mean, let's just be real. There's a lot here that doesn't add up, right?
Well, isn't the iTunes like where the microtransactions from games get charged? So that actually would make sense.
It would make no. Okay, you're correct, but the point I'm making is the money's in the PayPal account. So if there,
hold on, I know what you're saying, but on PayPal you can actually use PayPal, and you could click use balance or use your bank account, and it'll just pull the money from your bank account, but using PayPal as the payment service. So that's irrelevant because you can choose where the money's coming from on PayPal.
Okay, I see what you're saying. What I was going off of their narrative, and their narrative is every day I'm begging my audience for money. It goes to my PayPal, and then I immediately spend that on WWE champions. That's the narrative.
I didn't believe that narrative, but it does seem that you do get money and you just spend it on the things that need to be spent on instead of, planning for taxes the next month or whatever.
That is absolutely correct. Yes.
Right, and or things that aren't necessary, which could include WWE. Not saying that it is, but it could be.
Do you feel that you said you still play the game? Do you play any other mobile games?
Yes.
Do you feel that you're addicted to them at all?
No. I play them casually. I play them, for example, I'll be off the stream and it's night and my wife and I are watching a TV show. And as we're watching the show, I might just open it up. And, these mobile games are not narrative experiences. They're just like kind of busy word game grinding games, right? You mash a little bit, you do like Adam said, this stupid WWE Champions is just a freaking puzzle game like Candy Crush. It doesn't take a lot of intelligence to do them. They're more like,
do casual players pay just under $1,000?
No,
I don't know. I feel like you elevate your level when you actually put any money into it, but then when it goes over $100, you kind of elevate from casual to, all right, I'm one of the core players.
This all started because you guys probably don't know the full history. This all started many years ago, before there was tons of financial issues that were public. I was playing a different WWE game. It was called WWE Supercard. All right, this one I actively spent a lot of money on. I will tell you guys this. I can't tell you the exact. I got addicted to that one. Everyone knew it. I talked about it.
So you have been addicted to mobile games?
Yes, I have. I publicly admitted this, that I spent way too much money on that. And there was another one that was called Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle. That one as well. This was before, way before years before the bankruptcy and everything. I was spending too much money on them. And at that point, I stopped. I cut off. I stopped playing WWE Supercard and Dokkan Battle completely. When I saw what I was doing, I stopped myself from doing it.
Oh, yes. I just randomly saw what I was doing, guys, and I just stopped cold turkey.
He played other mobile games over the years.
But I'm not addicted to anything now, guys.
And I know you guys are going to say you're changing the narrative. Please bear with me with this.
No, it's not helping your case at all, though.
I know, but I'm being honest. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not going to lie to you guys. This is all public record. I talked about those games in the past. And
you know what else is public record? You admitting that was your bank accounts. That's public record, too.
Detractors, what they do is they find a narrative and they stick with it. If I can dispute it or disprove it, or
which
if
you
it gets
haven't
somehow disproven, then they drop it and they latch on to
You've never disproven anything.
I haven't been outright been able to disprove. This particular
except
one,
for the escort saga.
They've been looking for
and even then that was the
the
detractors that disproved it, not you.
Every single thing gets disproven or just forgotten about. This is the one I can't find a way.
Use Craig. Send him a screenshot.
I haven't found a way to do this without putting myself at personal risk up to now.
That sigh of exasperation.
So this is why the narrative has continued, even though there's been so many different things that have been disproven. There's people who make videos about WWE champions that have made entire exposés about me in the past that were completely disproven.
Oh, shout out Secret Limited! Yeah, and you know who disproved the escort saga? Detractors did, Phil. You didn't disprove anything from that. It was up to detractors that disproved it for you. And because they were wrong one time, they must be wrong about everything, right?
They don't care about that. What's the next thing that we can make drama about for Phil? So we can have personal gain on the internet and get clickbait views and shit, So that's what I mean. Because this all started years ago with those other games, I publicly admitted to everyone, yeah, I was addicted to them. I spent too much money on them. I'm done with that now, And then I casually, people at one point, like 2017, when this game came out, asked me, are you playing any other mobile games? Yeah, I started playing this one. And every once in a while I mention it. I think the last time that I actively had admitted that I had played it was 2019. I'd said that I was on a plane to Connecticut to get married with my wife, and I had played it on the plane.
Are you not going to tell them that you lied and begged because you said your parents were dying and that's why you were going to Connecticut? Not to get married. You were begging for months beforehand because you wanted to go see your dying parents that weren't dying. But you're not going to say that, huh?
That, you still play mobile games. You're still
So let's. Okay. So you say you play the game. You say you're not addicted, although you have been addicted to mobile games in the past, right? And I'm just going to lay this all out in front of us, all right? So you used to play a mobile game that was WWE related.
Yes.
Okay. You were addicted to that game. Fast forward, new game comes out, right? You play that game, and by the way, you separated yourself from that game because you knew that you were addicted to it. Okay. Usually, in the case of addiction, just usually there's some sort of intervention in life, some sort of intervention that happens, whether it's brought on by friends, family, or just personal. You look inside yourself and you realize something needs to change, right?
Right.
He really does need intervention.
Do you feel that you're addicted to these games? I've already asked you this, but I just feel like, once again, you have transactions that line up with major events. I'm getting DM pictures of your Discord, your Discord handle in the WWE Champions Discord, right?
Leagues.
I have, and it just seems there's all so. Make it make sense. Like, this doesn't make sense. Make it make sense. I have such a hard time believing that there is a group of people that are so hell-bent, this evil plan to make you look bad, that they're willing to spend thousands and thousands of dollars on WWE champions just so they can make you look bad. I don't buy it. And once again, there's an easy out here, Phil. I'm offering you the easy out. All you got to do is just take a quick screenshot. You can email it to me. It's done.
He's
we all
trying
move
to
on.
help
the
him, and
detractors
Phil
move
just
on, and
doesn't
everybody
see
goes,
it.
okay, you know what, and we all move on. That's it.
Either disprove it or admit it. There's no other way. But he tries to like finagle and keep. No, it'll give too much information away. It won't.
That's it. It's very simple, man. And
He's
we
trying
want
to
to make
help
this
him.
happen.
Craig's trying to help him. He just
I want
won't.
you to be able to move on from it. I want the detractors to be able to move on from it. I want the internet to move on from it. I want all the WWE content to be done. Like, it's there, man. It's there. Like, let's make this happen. Like, and then we all move on, and we can start talking about other things.
Okay. Like I said, I'll think about it. I gotta see how I can do it, and you know, again, what liability? I'm not gonna.
He won't
agree to it, but I'm very strongly considering doing it.
Nope, that's a lie.
Let's see if we can do it before
eyes.
the end of the stream. We have a captive audience here. They want to know, right?
Oh, no, hold on. I told you I'm not even doing anything with my phone or anything on the stream. I'm definitely not doing it today on the stream.
Okay.
It's just, you know, you gotta understand there's liability here. This is not just a discussion for me either. I'm talking to my wife, you know, everything.
I gotta talk to my wife about it first. Oh my god.
Okay. All right. Look, like I said, family, I get it. Right. Totally understand. Okay. then you know, when you decide that this is something that you're comfortable with, you can email it to me.
He's
the
never
email will
gonna,
only be
sorry.
seen by me, not anybody else. Okay. And I will delete it immediately after. and I will, you know, I will serve as your confidant in this process. So, all right. Well, I mean, I don't really know how to move on from this. I don't know. You know, I just feel like there's this amount.
All right, that's enough for that video. That's the end. So we'll just go over this super quick.
Set it up.
There was a, you know, you went through bankruptcy, right? And that's pretty public. You went through bankruptcy, and there was this, the $5,000, you know, business expense thing has been talked about by your detractors quite a bit. They say, what could you possibly be spending $5,000 on? Look, a month. You are a streamer who streams, you know, by your own schedule. You're active 12 hours a day doing this, right? And
And by your own admission, you said like you didn't fix the set at all. It's been just a shoddy set for most of your over a decade of doing this.
Right. So there's this whole, like, what do your business expenses look like? I mean, I've done this for a long time. The business expenses are your initial cost of setting up your camera, your lights, and that's about it. And then after that, it's your cost
Internet
is
bill?
your time. Yeah, is your time, right? And so walk me through, what does that look like? What is it specifically? You know, there's this $5,000 business expense every month. So what is this?
Okay, so first of all, we're talking about things that came out publicly during a bankruptcy proceeding, correct? And I believe that the $5,000 a month number came off of, I believe it's from my a tax return. Is that correct? That it was filed, or you know, the data? I'm trying to remember exactly where it came from. You guys probably know more than me because you've probably been inundated with this for 2 weeks. While I'm so far removed from this.
I want to hear it from you.
I think again. I
want to hear it from you. Get it from the pig's mouth.
For bankruptcy, a lot of information goes public, and so they look at a public filing. I guess there's certain information that's made public. I don't think it's all your tax returns. I think it's like 1 year's worth or something. And I guess there was a number that was thrown out there that it looks like Phil spends $5,000 a month on businesses.
It was in your filing paperwork for your bankruptcy that you messed up on totally, and your lawyer just wrapped all your bills, all your payments into one lump sum of $5,000. She probably wrapped your mortgage, your food bill, your lights, your heating, your internet, your cell phone, all these she probably just lumped together into one thing and claimed that was your monthly expense for your business, which it isn't. That's just your living thing. But you file everything as a business expense. For taxes, you file everything. Well, I need a house to run my business. I need my lights and electricity on to run my business, guys. If I don't have my lights and my internet working, I can't do my business. these are all things that he probably claims as business expenses. So the bankruptcy lawyer just wrapped them all into a $5,000 a month expense. And he was trying to rig the system, and he got it passed. He got his bankruptcy because of shady dealings and just trying to label everything as a business expense.
Now, number one, I don't do my own taxes. I have a tax guy to do. I pay him to do it. Okay. Here's what I can tell you. All right. I can tell you right now, because I'm working on it right now for this year. What are considered expenses that a tax attorney wants to know you're spending every month? Geez. Your mortgage, because if you work from home, I guess that's part of it. I don't know. Again, I'm not a tax guy, but you cost your mortgage. All of your utility bills that apply.
See, he just wraps everything up as a business expense.
Phil, you've been doing this for 17 years and you don't know what your business expenses are? You don't know what you get tax write-offs on and stuff? I mean, like...
Specifically, no, I don't.
Oh my God.
I give it all... I pay him a lot of money to a tax guy. I have a giant...
You do it for me. I don't know what I'm doing.
Provide. They work it out, because every year it's different. You know, I get to feel the tax laws change and stuff, and they figure it out. I give them all the data. In fact, just got an email from a tax guy the other day. He's like, we still need this data for you for this year's tax filings. We need how much do you pay for utilities? What's your cost of internet this year? What's this? They need all that information. And I got to get them.
You see what I mean, though? Every single bill he has, he's trying to incorporate into a business expense.
Everyone,
let's trying to write it off.
Get to the meat of it is this stupid WWE champion bullshit, which I cannot wait to talk about it.
Well, and we'll get to that, but I want to stay on this for a minute. Like, just once again, walk me through this, because, like, I'm trying to put myself in your shoes, and I'm trying to think through
while you're piecing it together, building that up. I just want to remind you, Phil, like you said at the beginning of this stream, you want this to be where people can go to finally, like, oh, you just go watch that video, right?
Yes.
I don't have to say it anymore. So
Correct.
Like this, you said, like, what do we want to know? This isn't for us. This is for the people out there that are like, what about the $5,000 a month? You know, so, what about WWE champion, which we'll get into, like, what about these things? So it's like, this is your chance to now say, all right, it was the freaking business expenses, whatever. I mean, it was the mortgage, it was this. I don't know if that's actually considered a tax write-off. I don't want you to get in trouble, but I don't know. It just feels.
No, and see, that's the thing. Again, when I went to that bankruptcy, oh my God, that was
clear sign he's lying. Or he's about to lie.
My tax attorney, excuse me, not my tax attorney, I misspoke. My bankruptcy attorney had no idea what they were getting into with me being a public persona. And there were things you can do, I guess, to protect from online harassment, which they did. I tried to explain. They didn't really understand who I was or whatever. And so when all that went public, that was the most drama-filled bankruptcy hearing ever. The judge was inundated with thousands of messages from my haters about stuff. But anyway, let me answer the question first, and then we can get to anything you want to talk about there. I would assume that the expenses are including everything that I do. Okay, that's related to the business, and that could include mortgage, any insurance that I'm paying that relates to the business, health insurance and or medical costs, legal costs, and that what I'm talking about is my tax attorney, but also other attorney and things that I've been involved in over the years, which maybe we will get into that today, or maybe we won't. I really can't talk too much about certain things. We'll get to that, identity theft and stuff. I know it's the first time I ever mentioned that, you guys. So, among other things, all the normal things in a month. Like I said, utilities and all of that. It adds it up. Here it is. Here's my tax return. All of a sudden, I'm being accused that was a lie or something. All right, here's what I can say, because I'm not going to sit here and go back to a 2010 tax return and say, here's what my accountant said or whatever.
Right.
This is from 2010. That's $5,000 a month.
Oh, excuse me. Did I say 2010? I meant 2020. That's totally my fault. I meant 2020. My bankruptcy was 2020. So I think the tax return that must be referenced is like 2019, something like that. Okay. Here's what I know. Because of the amount of trolling that happened to me, this judge,
it's all the trolls' fault. Bring it around to the trolls. Play victim.
Online with so much shit. I had to go into meeting after meeting with both my bankruptcy attorney and this judge. Hours of work. We went through line item by line item of all.
We have no way of knowing if this is true or not. But knowing how much of a compulsive liar he is, I highly doubt this actually happened because we have no way of proving it, and he has no way of proving it. And like I said, knowing how much he lies about every little stupid thing, I highly doubt this happened.
All of my expenses. I had to explain to a judge who has no idea what live streaming is, the entire concept of being a live streamer, and showing every single expense and line item and rationalizing what it was to my business. This is this, right? You know, and it took so much work. At the end of the day,
he just writes everything off as a tax expense, every single thing. I need my car to get groceries so I can continue to live, so I can do my business. Line item by line item, what my business expenses are, should probably be the judge who's going to make a ruling on if I should be granted bankruptcy. I need gas to get my food to eat so I can stay alive to do my business.
They saw it all. They went through all of it, and at the end of the day, they said this all makes sense. Approved.
Well, but in the vast majority of time, winners in bankruptcy experience like some sort of relief, right? Whatever the debt is that you were paying, it's gone, right? So why do you feel why do you have to go back to the well, going back to your audience, and ask your audience to crowdfund your content?
Good question.
When you claim and you still say that nothing has really changed financially for you.
Good question.
Great question.
Craig.
Thank you for asking it, because this is one of the ones I get hit with every day. We just talked about 2021 and what happened with Twitch. Okay, so the bankruptcy goes through around mid to late 2020. I'm relieved of all this revolving debt that I had in my name, but there's still debt that remains. There's still my mortgage. There's still my car payment. There's still taxes. And taxes is a big thing because for years there, I was not able to pay my federal taxes properly. And
was not able to.
You couldn't pay them, or you didn't prepare to pay them properly. There's
you didn't
a difference.
prepare to.
Because
I thought you hold on. I thought you said that you paid a guy to do your taxes.
I do, correct, to file the taxes.
Because I think the one thing that people need to understand is that you are acting as an independent contractor with YouTube and Twitch and whoever, right? So when you're paid, when somebody gives you $1 super chat, YouTube takes 30% of that, right? And so you get 70%. That 70% then needs to be taxed by Uncle Sam. Uncle Sam comes in and they take however much of that. So by the end of it, you could be getting anywhere between 50 cents of that or 35 cents of that, depending on what your revenue is for the year, and you're the tax brackets you're in. It sounds like, Phil, that you didn't necessarily plan accordingly for that, and you didn't save your money to ultimately pay. And if you have a tax person to do this, a CPA, which is for any online creator, that's like the number one expense is having a CPA to do your taxes. That's the number one thing, because going through and that's extremely important. But your tax, has your tax person ever came to you and said, hey, you should probably prepay your taxes. You should be paying quarterly instead of having one big lump sum at the end of the year? Because seems really irresponsible for somebody who works online and has done so for 17 years to have a tax person who hasn't suggested that and haven't had you prepaid.
Do not, please. That my tax guy is great.
Okay.
He I have an estimate of what I should be paying, not even quarterly, monthly. Like, basically, can I make this monthly payment? And some months I can easily make it no problem. And other months
because you're so far behind because you didn't file taxes at all for so many years.
But that income is based off of your tax for that month is based, and your quarter and your year is based off of the revenue that you're making that month. So if you make $10,000 that month, then you're going to be, then you prepay whatever, $2,000 in taxes, however much it is, right? So the money is already in your account. So why would you have trouble spending? Why would you have trouble with that? I'm really having a hard time following this, because if you have the money,
because it's
either being spent before it's time to pay taxes, or I don't know. I don't know. Please walk me through it.
Whew, okay, so I have two revenue streams. One revenue stream is very much daily income that I get from my viewers, meaning like tips, let's say. Okay, that's pretty much tips on a stream. The other revenue stream is the other income that I get
tips,
from YouTube.
guys.
That's ad revenue, super chats,
for my day off,
and all of that.
For my bills.
Okay. Daily, I get tips, and that essentially is the money that I'm using day to day to pay some bills, go grocery shopping, buy a new game, for the stream coming up, all that kind of stuff. The YouTube money that comes in behind the scenes is what I use to do all my ongoing recurring payments, my mortgage, my car, health insurance payment or whatever. Here's what's happened, okay? The bankruptcy happens. Great. End of 2020, things are looking up. I'm actually getting more popular on Twitch. I'm starting to make good money. I announced to my audience in early 2021, hey guys, guess what? There's a light at the end of the tunnel. You guys are supporting me so much. The bankruptcy went through. It's looking like if you keep this going this year, not only for the first year in many years, because now the bankruptcy's over with, now I can pay all my taxes properly for the first time in a long time. Because, my problem is we have that much debt and everything. You can't, I couldn't do it. It was my fault. I was in financial ruin. All right, 2021, things are looking up. And then what happens? They get me kicked out of the Twitch partner program. They shut down other revenue streams for me that I can't really talk about.
Like
Later
what?
on that year,
What other revenue streams did they shut down? Oh, but I can't really talk about because it didn't happen. That's why.
theft, which we might or might not get to today. I don't know if we'll talk about that. That's a huge one. Identity
You clearly
theft,
want to talk about it.
And we'll get there. We'll get there.
Oh, we already
It cost
talked
me
about
so
that.
much money to fix the identity theft thing. So now I went from
That
I'm
was
good
bullshit,
to,
but I already talked about
I
that.
immediately have lost a revenue stream from Twitch. I have to go to YouTube. I'm making way less money on YouTube now than I was on Twitch. All that money that was going to make everything even, I'm good to go now, is gone again. I'm way reduced income again. So you're right. The taxes adjust now. Nothing else adjusted. My mortgage still exists. My car still exists. All those regular expenses still exist, and now I'm making way less. So this is a running pattern, and I hate this shit. Every time in life I feel like I'm getting ahead, something happens and screws me over. I'm serious. It's like a comedy of errors. It's
But
ridiculous.
once again, Phil, then why not remove all that shit and just do something different? I'm not telling you what to do, but like if you keep
I'm not saying you should get a real job, but maybe you should get a real fucking job. And Phil, no one got you kicked off of Twitch except for you. That's on you. There wasn't a mass influx of detractors that just flooded Twitch and showed them all these clips. Okay? They reviewed your content. If you weren't doing hateful slurs, they would be like, okay, no, you're fine, you're good to go. But that's not the case. I'm going to echo GTD here. The biggest detractor, your biggest enemy is you. You hang yourself. You do this all to yourself, Phil. We don't do anything to you. We're just... I don't even think anyone actually went and showed Twitch like clips of all these things you did. And weren't you touting before, Twitch loves my content, guys? You guys can't do anything to me on Twitch. And now he's changed the story. It's like, oh, you guys got me kicked off of Twitch. I'm like, no, you got yourself kicked off of Twitch.
keep running in, if you keep running into a wall, eventually you need to take a different direction, right? And like I love that you love what you're doing right now, but if you're still struggling with this so immensely, at a certain point, don't you need to like self-reflect and say like, look, man, I'm running into this wall fucking 5 times. I should probably not be doing this or change my approach to it.
Mm-hmm. I hear you. And like I said, I had that conversation with my mom in 2019.
The
about
10-year
things
plan
not be beholden to people
that
do something
went
different in
away.
life. I mean, yeah, let's be honest. A major factor is money. Have to be honest here, right? That's what this is about. I'm going to be transparent.
Major factor. It sounds like it is the factor. I mean, it sounds like you're just spending the money as it coming in instead of saving and preparing for the next month where it might not be as profitable, so that you could be like, I'm saving. Maybe I'm not going to buy that new game. Maybe.
And keep in mind, he makes over $100,000 a year. That should be plenty enough for anyone to comfortably live off of for the whole year. But he doesn't know how to budget money, and he overindulges. He refuses to curtail his expenses at all, or to cut back or anything. Like, you should be able to be fine, even with your budget, or even with your monthly expenses and everything.
Yeah, even though it's probably a write-off because you're doing it for a business, doesn't matter.
Right.
It seems like you just gotta start saving money. Maybe be a little smarter for the future. I mean, I'm not trying to like lecture you on
you're
money,
right.
but
You are
it seems like you need it. So
Yeah, I need. What I need, and I've said this before, I'll just say this.
Sure, Phil.
I need like a year, and here's what I mean by that.
Oh my
I need
gosh,
1
this
year
bullshit again?
to make content and not have my trolls fuck with my income.
Oh my gosh, he's brought this up so many times. Guys, please, just give me 1 year. If you give me 1 year without fucking with me, I'll be back on top again. I'm like, no one's gonna give you that, Phil. Even if they did, even supposing every single detractor stopped ragging on you and didn't do anything about you, you would find a way to fuck it up yourself. You would, in 1 year, if every detractor stopped talking about you, you would still be in the same position you are now. You wouldn't be any better off at all. At all. Because you do this to yourself. You're the one spending all this money on frivolous stuff, not us. We're not actually hurting you. We're not... At least from me, I don't know if people are actually touching the poo or not, but most of us that I watch and follow are just here to watch the train wreck unfold. We're not getting actively involved. No one actually took any money from you or did actual identity fraud. They just got the list of transactions. They didn't take any money from you. They didn't... I don't know if anyone actually reported him to Twitch or not. I don't know about that. But most of us are just here to laugh at you. We're not... And we make you way more relevant. So if all the detractors just stopped talking about you and you would disappear from the internet, you would have way less followers and viewers than you do now. You would probably make a lot less money. No one would be tuning into your streams to see what the hell stupid shit you're doing anymore. And you would be in a worse position even than you are right now. We make you relevant. We keep the algorithm up for DSP shit. Granted, yeah, if you search DSP, you're going to find more of our content than you are going to of his. But still, like, without detractors, you would be like even less than where you are now. You would be a nobody.
It's never going to happen.
I agree
Never.
with you. I now agree with you. I know that now. But that's what's happened is every time something happens, that screws my income again. Well, wait, here we go. I worked my ass off. I changed who I am. I'm a different kind of content.
You didn't change at all.
The things that they had issue with me. This is why they do it to me, right there. We don't like Phil for this. Okay, I'll change all of that.
You're still begging.
Do it anyway.
You're still taking advantage of mentally challenged people.
What's the point? It's not doing anything. Why wouldn't you just stay the person that you were and that you are or whatever, instead of like trying to like adhere to people on the internet? Because the people on the internet are gonna hate. The haters are gonna hate. Like, who fucking cares? So what's the point?
Yeah,
You're doing it for nothing.
I agree. I understand what you're saying. At the same time, I feel like that a lot of the changes have been very productive. I like I said, now I love what I do for a living. I didn't before. I do now. I actually genuinely want to be here every day with my audience. It's fun. I wake up in the morning energized, ready to go. I used to wake up in the morning like, oh, I gotta go play games and film again. That was a horrible mentality. Who wants, I treated it like any other job. Now I love it for the last 4 or 5 years. But I hear you. But yeah, if I were to quit YouTube, let's say right now, cold turkey, I quit YouTube. I can't find a job out there that's going to pay what I'm doing now. In addition to that, there's always the factor that I've been out of the job market for a decade. Who's going to hire a 40-year-old guy that hasn't done anything besides, operate an online streaming business for 10 years?
Nobody with that attitude, though. So it seems like you're already defeated, not even worth trying. So you're putting yourself in.
Could you imagine Phil like working a fast food joint or even a retail job and having to like obey and like follow orders from a supervisor? Because I sure as heck can't. He would be fired day one.
Craig was mentioning earlier. It's just like there's no option. This is it. So I have to grind. I have to do this. And like that sounds miserable to me. Even though you say you're having fun, it seems like you're just trying to convince yourself that instead of
actually
it might be true. It might be true, but these two things could be true also. I'm just pointing that out, what I'm seeing.
And I just like to kind of continue on with that, right? The idea of like, do you have a business plan? Do you have what it looks like what your business looks like in a month from now? Do you have a business plan for a year from now?
Okay, so sorry, there's only 2 more things I wanted to go over really quick. So,
are you familiar with that name?
I'm familiar with the name, and I'm definitely familiar with the voice.
Okay, well, you're gonna know the voice. So here you go. This is a question from him.
Hey there, Philly cheesesteak. Guess who it is? Your favorite YouTuber. We're best friends. Remember that time you thought it'd be funny to put a restraining order on me, Filbert? Well, Philly, my question is, what the hell did you spend $500,000 on? You didn't pay off your house. You didn't pay off the condo. You didn't pay off any car you own. You're in debt. Where did the money go? Why did you take business loans? What did you use the business loan money for? You never improved your content. You've been using the same camera for nigh on 5,000 years. If it wasn't for, like, the Dutch brothers sending you a new web camera or, like, LEDs in the background, you'd have no ideas. Where'd them...
Thank you, Gundam, for including the Dutch brothers gave him a mic and the lights in the back. Because you know his first reply to this would have been, well, I did change, guys. I got a new mic and new lights in the background and a new camera. It all looks really nice. You know he would have said that if Gundam didn't include that. So thank you for including that.
Money go. You're like a politician in San Francisco. If I went to the mayor and I said, Mayor of San Francisco, where did all that money go? That $120 million you defunded the police with and put into black communities. Where did it go? You know, Phil, you screwed up. You never should have been a YouTuber. You should have been a politician in San Francisco. You would have gotten away with it, baby. If it wasn't for those meddling detractors.
Is it going to end at some point?
All right, it's over now.
It's actually not too late. I mean, politicians tend to be older.
Mm-hmm. Look, that was a long question. I think my first question after that is,
I think we handled that though already. We talked about that shit.
Well, but the 500,000. That's the first I've heard of that figure. Where is that?
No,
coming from,
I mentioned it earlier. We talked about it. And
could be the bankruptcy. I'm not sure.
And I asked him, and if it was the bankruptcy, and I think that's it.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you taken out any business loans? And if so, what were they used for?
Oh, look at that
loans?
face.
No.
Oh, no, I
Everything
don't think we
all that
did.
debt that got written off was credit cards and stuff. You know, now I'm trying to think. Oh, I had personal loans, not business loans. I've never taken out any kind of loan officially in the name of the business or anything.
I don't know about that.
No.
Okay.
All right, and one more thing, and we'll be done.
They'll find my bankruptcy. They'll find all these statements. Did you ever find the restraining order that she had against her ex because he was hitting her?
No, we didn't, because
Right?
I think you
But,
just made that
make
up,
him look
Phil.
like a good guy.
I
on
don't
the
think we
internet,
have any
right?
evidence
Which is what
of
they've
that.
done. My detractors have actually done this. They've gone into her personal life with her family. She has nothing to do with me or my content. Stop. If you're going to mess with me, that's one thing. Leave my family.
You kind of laid the gauntlet out, though. You were like, no troll, no detractor's ever going to find information on her. You don't know who she is. You kind of like setting the gauntlet, like laying it, like it's almost like he was saying when they first when he was first talking about her. He's like, I dare you to find any information about her. And what do you think the internet did? Within less than a couple days, they found her.
Leave my everyone out of it. Make fun of me. Put the brunt on me.
Please,
one of my
put the
biggest
brunt
regrets as a
on
content
me.
creator. I never meant for anyone to get hurt doing this. Never. I feel
Oh,
awful
the
that my
fake
wife every
tears
day
are coming.
is feeling awful about things going on. Like, why are they saying these things about her?
Why
She
are
has
they
nothing to
saying
do with
these
any of this. Leave her out of it. All right.
She's not a
Just all
horse,
the stuff. I mean, I'm
guys.
sure there's a million other things. There'll be a part 2. We'll get to it then. But those are two things that have always been horrible to women. If anything, you will never ever.
All right, so I think my next video is going to be about how weird Phil is about sex and how he's basically a cuck and all this stuff. And this is just a small teaser, because this is the end of the video. This is just a small teaser for my next video I'm going to make. But oh my god, this part.
1,000,000%. You will never find someone on the internet
Nazi salute.
saying that Phil was in a sex scandal, Phil was abusive to women in the past. I have
Put your hand
never
up.
done that in my life. 1,000,000%. But they want to say it, and it really irks me.
Who wants to say it? Who has called Phil a sex abuser? Or who said that he was in a sex scandal? Who has said that? Phil, your dick does not work. You didn't have sex with Leanna. She was upset. She went and found someone else whose dick worked. You clearly don't have that much of a chemistry with Kat. It's probably an arranged marriage. Oh my gosh. Yeah. No shit, you're not gonna be in a sex scandal because you probably can't even get it up anymore.
Wrong way. So.
And I'm not shaming because of ED or whatever. I'm just saying it's like it's clear there's no real love or romance there.
I understand. All right. Well, look, I think this is a great place to stop.
I think so too, Craig. Holy crap. I didn't think this was gonna be this long, but I am sorry for that. But I'm not gonna go through the whole 5-hour long interview because there's plenty of people who are doing that. There's plenty of other great content creators out there who are giving their own sides to the story and everything. I just wanted to get this one part of the I just want to give this my side of the story, my opinion on the interview from these small clips. But hopefully I've proven to you that yes, he has said in the past those are his bank accounts. And then he's pulling out of nowhere claiming it's not his bank accounts when numerous times in the past he did say it was. And just, yeah. I will say I was pleasantly surprised at Craig and Adam for this interview because I thought it was going to be a nothing burger like the quartering interview was. And I'm glad they actually asked hard-hitting interrogation style questions, and I was really great to actually see Keem come on, even though Phil just talked shit about him afterwards in his little podcast after the fact. But it was nice to actually see that. I liked it. I thought it was a great interview. But yeah, next time.